Okay, this is one of those stories where the more you learn, the more you're like, wait, how did this even happen on national TV? Because you guys, Nia Sioux from Dance Moms has officially come forward in her brand new memoir, and she's not holding back. We're talking full transparency, shocking details, and moments that even the most die-hard Dance Moms fans didn't see coming. And yes, Abby Lee Miller is right in the center of it all. Now, before we get too deep into what Nia's revealing, let's just set the stage for a second. Remember the Dance Moms era? The sparkly costumes, the iconic pyramid, the screaming matches, and of course the chaos that was Abby Lee. It was the kind of show you couldn't look away from even if you tried. But while we all laughed, cringed, and gasped at what happened on camera, what Nia just revealed shows there was so much we didn't see. Because in her new book, Bottom of the Pyramid, a memoir of persevering, dancing for myself, and starring in my own life, Nia's finally breaking down what it was really like being the only black dancer on the ALDC team. And some of the things Abby allegedly said and did, yeah, they're honestly hard to believe. And here's where it gets wild. Fans thought they knew everything there was to know about Abby Lee, the yelling, the pressure, the breakdowns, but apparently we were only getting the edited version. Because according to Nia, producers cut out a ton of stuff from the show, things that were allegedly so bad they thought it would damage Abby's image and maybe even the networks. Like, imagine something happening on camera and it's so upsetting that the editors just go, yeah, no, we're not airing that. That's how intense this gets. So let's talk about one of the most shocking moments in Nia's book, the alleged $10,000 bribe. Yeah, you heard that right. According to Nia, Abby once walked into a room while Nia was working with Aubrey O'Day, yes, from Danity Kane, and offered Aubrey $10,000 to stop mentoring Nia. $10,000, allegedly right in front of everyone. And apparently this wasn't some behind-the-scenes rumor. Nia says the whole thing was caught on camera, but it got edited out. She remembers running out of the room crying afterward, and when the episode finally aired, that entire moment was just gone. Think about that. You're a kid doing something you love, and your mentor allegedly tries to bribe someone not to work with you. And what's worse, Nia believes producers didn't cut it because they were trying to protect her. They cut it to protect Abby and the show's reputation, which honestly says a lot about how reality TV works. It's a reminder that what we see is only a fraction of what really goes on behind the camera. But that's just one part of what Nia's opening up about, because the rest of her book dives into something even deeper. The microaggressions, the body shaming, and the way she was treated differently as the only black girl on the team. Let's start with the hair comments, because this is one of those moments that fans are really reacting to online. Nia writes that during Season 2, she wore her hair in braids, something production had fully approved, and Abby allegedly looked at her and said it looked awful, comparing it to a log coming out of the side of her head. And yes, that was said on camera. Now, can you imagine hearing that as a child from your dance teacher on national TV? It's beyond uncomfortable. And apparently that wasn't even the worst part, because Nia says there was another moment, one that never aired, where Abby allegedly asked her, "Don't you wish you had white girl hair?" And when she said no, Abby allegedly responded with, "Oh really? Like you don't think it would be much easier?" And Nia writes that even as a kid, she knew that comment was completely out of line. She said it didn't matter what she said, I knew I didn't want to be white. That kind of strength, especially at that age, is seriously powerful. But it's also heartbreaking that she even had to hear that. And it didn't stop there. Nia also recalls Abby making comments about her body and even her feet, saying things like, "Your people have flat feet," and threatening that if she didn't point her foot correctly, she'd come out there and break it. And yeah, we've seen Abby critique the girl's form, posture, and feet on camera, but hearing it in this context, completely different story. Fans are saying it adds a whole new layer to what we all thought was just tough love. Now, body shaming. That's another big topic Nia talks about in the book. She remembers being called out for the size of her thighs, being told she was lazy or not working hard enough, when in reality she was one of the hardest workers there. She says Abby created this illusion that she wasn't as strong of a dancer, and that false narrative stuck with fans and even her castmates. And honestly, that's something we've seen over and over in Dance Moms. Abby's constant commentary about the girls' bodies, the tummy nicknames, the teasing, the comparisons. Even Maddie and Kenzie's mom, Melissa, once said that Abby used to call Kenzie's stomach Bob. Like, who does that to a kid? And here's the thing. This wasn't just a one-off incident. Nia describes it as a pattern, the way the choreography she was given sometimes had racial undertones, the way her solos carried messages that felt deeply uncomfortable. She mentions one of her early solos called Natty of the Jungle, where she played a child raised by monkeys. Yeah, that actually happened. And again, she was 7 years old. At that age, she didn't fully understand what that meant. She just wanted to dance. But looking back now, she recognizes how problematic that was. Her next solo was called Satan's Little Lamb. Then there was one titled Free at Last. And she says her mom often tried to speak up about these routines, but there was only so much she could do without making things worse for Nia. And honestly, this is where you really start to understand the emotional toll. Nia was constantly at the bottom of the pyramid. Every single week, no matter how well she performed, it was like she couldn't move up. And when you're a kid watching your friends get praised and you're always the one who needs to improve, it messes with your confidence. And that's why the title of her book, Bottom of the Pyramid, is so powerful. It's her reclaiming that label, turning what once was a symbol of shame into something empowering. It's like she's saying, yeah, I was at the bottom, but I climbed out and I built my own life on my terms. And she's not wrong, because despite everything she went through, Nia's thriving. She's gone to college, pursued acting, music, and even writing, and she's done it all without the show defining her. But what's really getting people talking now is how her mom, Holly Frazier, is responding to the backlash. Because ever since the book came out, people online have been asking, why didn't her mom pull her out of the studio? Like, if all this stuff was happening, why stay? And Holly's response? Honestly, it's powerful. She said, some of you are being manipulative by trying to deflect the issue onto me. The issue is not me. This is Nia's story. Don't invalidate her experience by trying to shift the blame onto her mother. She went on to say, this is about someone who didn't do their job. No one was hired to be cruel. What we're not going to do is manipulate the truth just because you don't want to hold certain people accountable. And that's honestly such an important point, because for years, these girls were kids on a TV show. They didn't know how much of their pain was being edited for entertainment, and their parents were navigating something completely new, a production team, contracts, and the constant fear of being blacklisted if they pushed back too hard. It's easy to judge from the outside, but when you really think about it, no amount of fame or exposure should come at the cost of a child's emotional well-being. And Nia's story proves that even when the cameras stop rolling, the impact doesn't go away. She's reminding everyone that behind every TV character was a real person, a kid with feelings, dreams, and a story that mattered. And now she finally gets to tell it her way. So yeah, Nia Sioux has officially gone from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of her own story. And that's a comeback worth celebrating. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much reality TV tries to control the narrative, the truth always finds a way to dance into the light.